Okay, so I think, yeah, I've already said thank you for 800 subscribers. I said that yesterday, so thank you. And I think I will just make the video now because I'm just trying to trying to postpone working with school. So, yeah. But in all honesty, like one out of 8 billion, over 8 billion people, you matter. But and I matter to people, but if I died, let's say right fucking now, a meteorite, asteroid, whatever it's called, shot down in my room and I exploded, people would just go on with their day. I mean, yeah, sure, it will be a sort of a topic in the news, but probably nobody will know my name and such. And I said this before, there are thousands of people dying every single day. I don't know any of the names. I don't know of them, and I hopefully won't do it for some time, knock on wood. But that's the thing. In the grand scheme of things, we are very, very small, man. We are tiny. And when I look up in the stars, everything else in that universe is huge. Time and explosions and stellar things happening up there. It's all constantly going. Time is constantly going, and therefore, you shouldn't sort of overthink it, stress about it. Yeah, you should take things serious, but when I say that, when let's say you have a ton of pressure on you, or let's say you fail this or you fail on that. I was playing Clash of Clans yesterday and I lost a shit ton of games attacking, and I was upset about it. It ruined a bit of my mood, and I was like, dude, this doesn't matter at all. Like, you got a whole life, man. You got all of this other shit. This doesn't matter. That it's the same for just unnecessary shit. Yeah, it's healthy to argue, to debate, but when it comes to stupid debates that's going nowhere, it ain't worth your time, right? It isn't worth your energy. It isn't that important. It isn't that important to win that debate or argument with your brother or who else. You have an argument with a guy in the street. You bump into each other. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" And you go, "Well, you bumped into me." And stuff like aggro, stuff like that. And rather than just trying to convince one another who's right, just say sorry and go on with your day. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. And like, you have values, you have stuff that you care about, good. But if you want to do stuff on the account of other reactions, other people's reactions, on that people will acknowledge and do all that stuff, you are doing the wrong thing, my friend. You are not. That is not healthy. I mean, let's say I want to be the biggest guy in the gym. I've had those feelings that I want to be the biggest, I want to lift the heaviest. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. I can tell you, nobody gives a shit about that. Okay? I could have gone to a bunch of interviews. I could have done a bunch of self-tapes saying I can bench this, I can lift this. They wouldn't give a shit. Why? Because it doesn't matter. It isn't important in this thing. The only thing important about lifting shit is that you're strong, but it isn't that necessary in this world, or is it? Yeah, being strong and be able to defend yourself, whatever. It's an evil world we live in. I've told that before, but other than that, it doesn't matter. It isn't. People don't give a shit. It is, a different topic if it's competition, if it's tournament where it's actually acquired for you to be stronger. But I'm talking about in general, you're going in the gym, do your best, make sure you're getting better each day. Yeah, do your best, and that is all you need, doing your best. And since I've thought about it more like that, it's amazing. All those comparing, it goes out the window. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter, man. Every single person in that gym reacts to things differently, train differently, are built differently, genetically different than you. Everybody is like in physical is different. They're different people than you. So let's say you do this exercise and you recommend that to another person, that person may not react the same way. There's a taller person than you who's saying, I'm skinny, I'm so skinny, man. And I just think and say, bro, you're taller than me. It's more difficult because of range of motion and such, and all this other shit. It's more difficult than you. It's more difficult for you than me. I don't go around, complaining about having issues with this and that, because who cares, man? You just have a goal, have something that you burn for and strive to do, and just do your best. That's all I'm asking for you and for myself. Do your best, as long as it's a good thing, of course. Do your best, and you shouldn't worry about anything else, right? Who gives a shit if this guy is stronger than you? Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. Therefore, you shouldn't give a shit. So many people that sort of have that problem, and I think that goes to a bunch of people always being on social media. I could listen to one song, and that reminds me of vacation, and I'm like, oh, I'm not on vacation, I'm not doing this and that, blah blah blah, I'm not traveling, and like that, my thinking changes. It may ruin my day. It may sort of change my day. That is how quickly it can go. It takes a lot more to do that to me now, of course, but it still happens sometimes. I'm not perfect, but people don't give a shit. They don't give a shit, okay? And I'm talking about in general, in public. People have things to do. They have problems and worries and all those stuff as well. They all have their own life, which is quite interesting. They all have just different stories, which I quite think is interesting. Every single person in that street has, own experiences the way I have, they all have experiences, things, they all have that life and such, which is fun. But yeah, people don't give a shit because they have other things, and as I said, in general, people give a shit close to you. That is why family and friends are so important. They are very important. But in general, people don't give a shit. So people don't give a shit, therefore family and friends are important, right? Because if you go out in the general, people don't give a shit. They have things to do, right? So I hope you can find something. It sounds very negative, but I try to make it, or hopefully you can sort of understand this in a positive way. People don't give a shit, therefore don't worry and do your thing. Do what you love, right? And yeah, it's sort of like that. I may say things that are wrong and doesn't necessarily and isn't necessarily correct, but I try to just speak. But yeah, people don't give a shit, so therefore you do your own thing, do a good thing, and yeah, yeah. And that is also why being kind and being a kind person is always as important as possible. I haven't been a kind person every single day. I haven't. There are things I regret, things I've done that is not nice. But I try and strive to become a better person every single day, and that is what's important. And as I've mentioned, there are things you cannot forgive. I haven't done any of those, luckily, and I will never do things that you can't forgive. But it's like, try to become a better person. Okay. Yeah, I think that was quite good. Good talk. Yeah, strive to become a better person. Yeah, I think it's quite good. Yeah, you will just watch me thinking. I am just thinking, trying to sort of understand what I said. But yeah. And I still have issues. I have a bunch of thoughts due to my upbringing. I have, let's say, I won't tell you too much. I have not in a corny way. I have, you have all this anger, right? And which is why the gym is very, very helpful. You have all this anger, this sort of rage and frustration, and that's fine to have that, but don't put it on anybody else, right? At least people that don't deserve it. So yeah, and in general, mostly people don't deserve it. So yeah. Right now, school. We'll eat a bunch of chicken thighs. Oh my god, I'm so hungry. We'll eat that later, and I will pick up someone from the airport. And rather than that, just gotta just stay on and go on and have a good time. So yeah, I hope you had a good day. I hope you will have a good day. I wish you the best as always. Have a laugh, have a smile, and be kind. I try as hard as I can not to become a hypocrite. It's hard. It's very hard. I think very hard for a lot of people, but we try. At least we try to become better people. Take care. Goodbye.